Realigning wellness one miracle at a time. Welcome to the Perinatal and Pediatric Conversations, the podcast of the PPA. I'm Dr. Ashley Emmel.
I'm Dr. Jessica Taglerini.
And I'm Dr. Linda Slack.
Linda and Ashley and I were sharing some success stories we've had recently, and it really got us inspired. And so we're hoping to offer insight and inspiration to you. Linda, why don't you get started and tell us about some of the success stories you've been having in your practice lately?
Sure. So this past week, I had a family return to practice. They actually hadn't been in since January of 2024, and Review Wave spurred them to come back in again.
Okay.
So both of these children I have seen, and so little Julian, he's now 3 years old, and his parents brought him back into the office with a complaint of restless leg. This is one of the reasons why I love seeing children, because it's not about back pain, neck pain, or headaches.
Mm-hmm.
So he has restless leg syndrome. He's up all night with kicking his legs all night, waking up every hour after his dad massages his feet and his legs. He goes back to sleep and he wakes up every hour. Now, interestingly enough, guess what? Dad has restless leg syndrome too. It seems to run in the family. Dad said that he has had it since he was 3 years old. And he never did anything for it. He still has it. So in examination, didn't find anything really seriously going on. But I know, and we know, that you're better off with a chiropractic adjustment than without. And in presenting the care plan, I said, I don't know what this is going to do, but it's going to be beneficial no matter what. Mm-hmm. And so I adjusted little Julian on Thursday. He came back in on Monday, and his mom said he slept through the night for the first time in his life. So that's a chiropractic miracle.
Yes.
And then on the next visit, he came in, and I found a tender trigger point on the back of his head, and he said, "Ow, that hurts." And we did our occipital adjustment, and afterwards I palpated again, and I said, "What do you think? Does it still hurt, Julian?" And he goes, "No, it tickles now." So, children are so cute, and that's why I love working with them.
They are. They're so cute. They're so resilient, and they're so appreciative. They get it. That's great. That's great. Ashley, share with us a few stories that you've had recently that inspired.
So I, just like Linda said, I love chiropractic miracles, and we work a lot with pelvic floor dysfunction patients. So my favorite pelvic floor dysfunction miracles are those women that have had pelvic floor pain for years, and they've gone to all the people, and they come in, they're like, I'm still hurting, and these are my symptoms. So maybe it's pain during intercourse, maybe it's fecal smear, maybe just spasm, maybe they can't stand long periods. So recently I had a patient that went through a care plan with me that was a referral from a pelvic floor therapist for internal work, and they were really stalling out and not getting really great success. And as many of you know, some of those sessions can be really long with a internal pelvic floor specialist, and they can get really pricey over time. And so this patient had gone through everything. And so upon taking x-rays, I saw one of the worst scoliosis I've ever seen. Very severe. I can't believe she was not surgically, had surgery as a child or braced or all of the above, but none of that had happened. And so I just said, let's get a care plan going and let's do this. So this specific patient, extreme pain during intercourse, just wasn't fun anymore, constipation, which is pretty typical, and fecal smear. And that big thing for her was fecal smear, meaning going to the bathroom and you wipe and you have fecal matter, whether you didn't take a bowel movement or you've had a bowel movement and you just wipe and wipe and wipe and you continue to wipe. And so after our care plan, she was like, not only do I not have pain, and we made improvement of that scoliosis, which was not the overall plan, but no pain during intercourse, no more fecal smear. And for patients, especially women, those are huge. That is a huge miracle of this person had gone through everything else, had seen all the other providers, and then came to us for pelvic floor dysfunction work, and we got that miracle for her.
Imagine how much you improved her confidence too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's really great to see people not just getting well from the things they came in with and the goals they set, but then other things, those unexpected things that they didn't even think, when a patient comes back and you're at a re-exam and they're like, wow, my reflux went away and I don't have to take my reflux medication anymore. Could that be connected, Doc? I love hearing things like that.
Or my period cramps went away.
Yeah.
I don't get them anymore.
Yeah. My headaches are gone. I don't have that huge bowel Excedrin on my desk anymore at work, even though they might have come in for neck pain. Yeah. I love those unexpected miracles.
Yeah. Or they try to conceive for years. They've been through fertility, done all of the things. How many times do we hear that where I completely gave up even trying to conceive and it was not even on the radar? And then after chiropractic care for a few visits or a few months, they come back in and say, you got me pregnant. I'm like, actually, it wasn't me, but
and a lot of times they don't even tell you they're trying to conceive. Maybe they're coming in for a lower back issue or sciatica or something like that, and you're helping them with that, and they put it together. And that just means you did a great job educating them on what chiropractic is. One of my favorite patients, I was looking back at some cases over the past 6 months, and there's a woman named Christine that was referred in actually by another chiropractor. Now, that's a huge honor and a huge compliment when another chiropractor refers you one of their patients. And by the way, when somebody does that, it's really important. If they're referring you in for prenatal and they're coming to see you for something specific, that once they've had the baby, you've done their postpartum check, you respectfully need to send them back to that other chiropractor unless there's some reason, maybe they, for whatever reason they don't want to. But you always want to respect that referral. Don't ever take a patient or say anything bad about the doctor. But Christine came in for lower back pain and sciatica, and I was grateful that this chiropractor referred her in at 32 weeks. And because the sooner the better, sometimes the patient comes in right at the end and they want you to fix them in one adjustment. And not only were we able to help her and get her out of back pain and sciatica, but she ended up coming in for all 3 pregnancies. So she would still see that other chiropractor, and then every subsequent time she got pregnant, which was 2 more times, she'd come see us. Then there was Jen. Jen was referred in by her doula. It was her 4th baby. She had a vaginal birth and then a cesarean and then a cesarean. Now she's pregnant with her 4th baby. She's the only discomfort she's really having is round ligament pain. And that makes sense. She's stretched 3 other times in the past, right? And her goal was to have a VBAC. Now, not only did Jen have a VBAC, but she gave birth naturally, with no epidural, no Pitocin, nothing. And she was able to give birth standing. The doctor actually caught the baby with her standing. And obviously you can't do that if you have an epidural. So her body really knew what to do, and her nervous system, her power was on. I got 2 more. Arminda came in for baby number 3. She had 2 previous really, really long labors. And one of her neighbors said, I saw this chiropractor and I had a fairly short, uneventful labor. I think it really helped. I attributed to that anyway. Please go see her. So Arminda comes in to see me. She didn't realize at the time, but the baby was breech. So I saw her throughout, and although by the time she got towards the end, she was very aligned, the baby was still breech. Now, obviously we can't help everyone. And she said, Doc, should I have an ECV or should I go right to cesarean? What should I do? And I said, well, that's really between you and your OBGYN. But what I do know is the ECV is going to have an easier chance of being successful the more aligned you are, right? So her and her doctor decided to do that. The ECV went really quick and really smooth and was successful. Her doctor attributed that to us having worked on her, which was
nice.
Yes, I know. I'm really excited about that. So not only did Arminda continue to see me postpartum for wellness, but she had me check the baby. She had brought in her elementary school age kid, her middle school age kid, and her husband. So now 5 people in the family see us. So that's really great. And now guess who that doctor refers people to, right? And then my last story, and this is my favorite, and I just throw this one in because it was kind of funny, was my story about Erin. Erin came in, the baby was breech, and then it actually turned transverse and eventually head down. And so Erin was expecting a long labor. It was her first birth. So she kind of hemmed and hawed about getting in the car and going to the hospital when she was in labor. And she did have a vaginal birth, I'm happy to report. However, she ended up giving birth in the car on the way to the hospital. The best part of the story is she named the baby Ryder. So I thought that was funny. Anyways, I love these stories. I love how we're able to help people in all different shapes and forms, and how we're able to
And
as
they
a
didn't
result.
call you after that?
Right. No,
In the
they
front
didn't.
of the
No, they didn't. Somebody eventually needs to name a baby after one of us, right? But no. But yeah, it's really great. Yeah.
So expect miracles in your practice every day too. You need to realign your patients and work one miracle at a time. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you look for us at www.perinatalandpediatricacademy.com, hosted by Ellis Finnis and Floating X Technologies.
And also follow us on Facebook at Perinatal and Pediatric Academy, PPA.
And we look forward to joining us on our next podcast.